Well, it is fun to see you all together again, to get together for this event, which used to be annual, and I hope it will be annual again. Trying to remember exactly how it was that we started getting together on this day. Didn't it go something like this? When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, driving their just powers in the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to establish new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall effect the greatest secure. I knew I was going to blow the last sentence. Let's give a hand for Mr. Desjardins. He was my 8th grade social studies teacher 60 years ago. He had us memorize all that. After that part of the Declaration, there came a long train of abuses and usurpations, as Chesterton described them, of things that the king and the parliament had done that abused the rights of those colonists, the individual rights and the rights of self-government. And in the end, they fomented a little rebellion. But our National Day is based not on the winning of some battle, or the conquering of some territory, or the dominance of some group over some other group. It is instead to dedicate ourselves to an idea. We celebrate the American idea, which is one of individual human rights, of liberty, of respect for the rights of all. They didn't get it quite right the first time. All men and women are created equal, right? But they did put us on a course that 11 years later would adopt a constitution to form a more perfect union. They knew it wasn't perfect. And really part of the American story has been our continuing battle to make it a more perfect union. It took us the bloodiest war in our history to end slavery. It took us another 100 years beyond that to achieve at least some degree of legal equality for all people of all races. Along about that same time, we were fighting for women's rights, and then for gay rights, and all down through today for transgender rights, and for the rights of all human beings to be respected. In this state, there has been, the last couple of years, again, a long train of abuses and usurpations promulgated by a majority in the legislature and a governor who don't have respect for all human rights, who somehow think that talking about gay people or transgender people or talking about sex at all before, the end of high school is something that has to be suppressed. We can't admit that there are some people who are different from the mainstream. Well, I tell you, as far as I'm concerned, it's having a whole lot of different people that really makes this country more interesting. And so I think that we have to launch and continue to fight a battle against all of those infringements. Most particularly to me is the assault on public education, because really it is the public education that's available to all, to meet the needs of all, including, especially at issue this year, the rights of special ed kids. Kids who may need a little extra help one direction or another, to achieve a decent education that will allow them to be as independent as possible and to participate as much as possible in our society. And frankly, we've been losing on almost all of those grounds. Even the freedom to read is a challenge in the public schools, and they won't stop there. They'll go on to the public libraries as well. You know, there is no freedom of the press or freedom of speech. There is no freedom of speech without the freedom to hear. There's no freedom of the press without the freedom to read. Otherwise, we're just talking into a vacuum. So we get down to the dirty matter of practical politics. We've got a few candidates this year who are up on the ballot this year. I'm not, but that means I'm out knocking doors for a couple other people, and we'll be doing a lot more of it. I'm hoping that all of you can join in that effort. There's a lot of stuff to do for campaigns. I can't think of a campaign of anybody present right now who's going to be on TV. A lot of it is door knocking and postcards, and yeah, it does take some raising of money as well. Each and every one of you can help with that. You can help in multiple dimensions, or you can focus on one dimension, whatever suits you. But please, 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 those people who wrote that declaration, they ended it by pledging their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. How can we do anything less?